Hi, everyone. Hoping that you all are well and that you've had an opportunity to listen to the prior discussions on this topic. We are continuing with our examination of immunity and inequity with respect to Indigenous Americans and Creole Americans. We are focusing on this group or those groups because these groups appear to have higher than average detrimental outcomes when problems such as this make their way to the shores of America. We're going to take some scripture out of context and bring it into this context. And that scripture is Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. One of the things that has happened historically is that this history of globalization has been of benefit to those who were participating in the globalization, for those who were distributing themselves, for those who were spreading themselves around the world, so that dissemination. And so for those individuals, it has been beneficial. But for those who have been in receipt of the dissemination, there has been a history of decimation and devastation. And with respect to the history of this pox situation, that devastation seems to have had a sex ratio wherein males were more devastated than females by this particular type of situation. We're going to be looking again at mode of transmission and looking at the considerations regarding some underlying facts about modes of transmission, because we've been distracted by this entire narrative about men having sex with men and this situation being a quote gay unquote male disease.
Allow me to translate what she just said. Late in the midnight hour, it's gonna work.
And so there has historically been a scientific narrative about the spread of these orthopox viruses. However, the narrative in 2022 was somewhat altered with this focus on sex. And so we're going back to what was the original understanding about the mode of transmission. And so you can see this is an updated discussion from the CDC, July 29th, 2022. And it indicates monkeypox spreads in a few ways. It can spread to anyone through close, personal, often skin-to-skin contact, including. Okay, and so you see here this often skin-to-skin contact. There's a suggestion by this narrative that the primary mode of transmission for this particular situation is skin to skin. And while skin to skin is important, there's something else that is missing from the discussion, or something else that is being minimized in the discussion. And so it's indicating that direct contact with monkeypox rash, scabs, or body fluid, that's a mode of transmission. Touching objects such as fabrics, clothing, bedding, or towels, or surfaces that have been used by someone with monkeypox. And then finally, at the very end, contact with respiratory secretions. And so when you look at this descending order, it suggests that contact with respiratory secretions is the least likely way to spread this monkeypox. Now, in contrast to the narrative that puts respiratory secretions at the bottom in terms of understanding the mode of transmission, an earlier document advising people about travel-related infectious diseases, and this is also from the CDC. So this is in Chapter 4 on infectious agents. There is a different focus in terms of the mode of transmission. And so what has happened is individuals, many of whom have gotten caught up in homophobia, have been distracted from other facts related to the mode of transmission with respect to monkeypox. And so when we look here at this travel information from 2019, we see that the mode of transmission for smallpox, which is essentially the same thing as monkeypox with a few exceptions, smallpox is spread from person to person in a principally respiratory manner. And so what is the CDC saying when it says that something is principally spread in a particular manner? They are saying that monkeypox, smallpox, is mainly spread through respiratory transmission. It is mostly spread in that manner. On the whole, spread in that manner, largely, predominantly, overall, above all. This is the manner in which monkeypox, smallpox, orthopox is spread. And here again, specifically related to monkeypox, you see that after zoonotic transmission, monkeypox spread from person to person is principally respiratory. What's also noted here about this monkeypox is that the reservoir host is unknown, so it's unclear why it's being referred to as monkeypox, quite frankly. And so monkeypox could not have appeared at a more opportune time, as the requirements for face mask and social distancing in terms of public transportation, that was eradicated by court order back in April, about a month before monkeypox appeared on the scene in the manner that it has appeared on the scene at the shores of America. It's also noteworthy that some of the other dynamics that were in place to address the other situations, so we've got parallel situations going on here, those things were removed for reasons that are not completely clear because the situation has not been resolved. However, individuals were no longer told to wash their hands. It's very odd that you would have to continually tell adults to wash their hands. At any rate, individuals no longer had to, when doing food service, put on gloves. And so you did not have the requirement for washing of the hands, and then there was no barrier method required for the food in many instances. In addition to that, you had the removal of those sneeze guards and face shields for employees at a number of businesses. And so a number of dynamics were removed with respect to the parallel situation that have implications for this other emerging situation with this monkeypox. It's also important to keep in mind, while we are focusing on Indigenous Americans and Creole Americans, that Indigenous Americans don't have the same immunity profile as many people in other parts of the world. So that's important to keep in mind. And you saw the manifestation of this with the decimation of various tribes and clans during the colonization takeover period. And here you can see from April 18th until this date of May the 18th, you have these changes that took place. And then by the time you get to May the 18th, you have the first U.S. case of monkeypox this year found in Massachusetts. That's important to make note of because monkeypox has reared its head in America on other occasions. As we wrap this up, we're just going to address an observation that many of you have perhaps also observed, and it's about humanity and the functioning of humanity. What was noted in this parallel situation was that in many instances, human beings will not do anything unless they are told to do something. And then what is also noteworthy is that those same individuals who will not do anything unless they are told to do something, when they are told to do something, many people will do just about anything. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.
Allow me to translate what she just said. Late in the midnight